How important are stories in all this? What do they play any kind of role in creating your own methodologies? For example, the Skinwalker goes all the way back to legend, and then you have your local myths. Oh well, I heard that this thing happened on this property at that time or whatever. Are stories an important role in helping you figure out kind of what's going on in terms of a
There's
continuity?
a guy called Jacques Vallée who has written some very influential books in this field. And by this field, I mean the general topic of anomalies and UFOs and sort of things that should not happen. You know, the sort of what Jeffrey Kripal from Rice University calls the impossible. You know, when the impossible happens. But you know, one of the books that Jacques Vallée wrote was one called Messengers of Deception. It was written in the 1970s. Was pretty influential, and essentially his whole premise was that the UFO topic does operate at the cultural level, and it operates via, you know, having dramatic effects on people's lives in different ways. You've got different manifestations of these objects. You've even got people who are claiming to be contactees, quote unquote, who can have charisma and form, you know, religious cults. And so, you know, to use your terminology, the stories of these sort of encounters can permeate into, you know, small groups of people and then ever larger groups of people, like the so-called Raelian movement that happened in France from this guy who originally was contacted by quote unquote aliens. I mean, there are thousands of people in the Raelian movement, and it's a global movement, but it's a quasi-religious movement that's based on the original contact experience of a single person. So these kinds of stories do generate myths, and they can transmit to through populations. And one of the premises of Vallée's books is that you can have new religions formed as a result of contact experiences, and the way these experiences are promulgated is mostly verbally, and it is through stories. You know, there was a famous occurrence in Fatima, Portugal, where these kids who allegedly saw the Virgin Mary repetitively, the crowds got bigger every time they reported seeing these visions of the Virgin Mary, and so the final episode, sort of the culmination of many weeks of this thing, was this gigantic crowd formed in Fatima, Portugal, and you know, a UFO appeared, and this object, it was like sort of, it looked like a gigantic disc, and it was brightly lit, and all sorts of weird light phenomena happened. But like 5 to 10,000 people were witness to this in 1917, and you know, it all got mixed in with the appearance of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and so there was a sort of a religious connotation. I mean, the Fatima, you know, visions were sort of, I think they were counted as miracles in the Catholic Church. But this is an example of a sort of a borderline phenomenon that looks like a UFO that was sort of layered over a religious visitation. And so promulgation of that, I mean, the Fatima 1917 sightings were seen as a dramatic occurrence of a quasi-religious phenomenon. And you can see, you know, a lot of that, of the original biblical stories have been, you know, interpreted by some people as you know, the original contact experience had some sort of narratives that were very parallel to what people see now.